Right.
Well, hopefully the idea is, at least in my case, you're creating a rhythm.
Yeah.
And you're sailing on that rhythm, and you're going with that rhythm, and you can break
dialogue. I mean, I think the three writers that affected it the most, as far as like a genuine influence.
Quentin Tarantino watched every Western ever made. Then he picked 15, not 16, not 20, 15 films that shaped his vision of cinema. Before Django, before Hateful Eight, before Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. These are the Westerns that taught him everything.
You've seen nothing like them together, and here at Rio Bravo, nothing can tear them apart.
Not even a thank you do I get.
Maybe you're right.
Number 15, Rio Bravo, 1959. Howard Hawks directed Rio Bravo, and Tarantino calls it the perfect hangout movie. That matters, because most Westerns focus on the destination, the final shootout, the revenge completed, the bad guy dead. But Rio Bravo focuses on the wait. John Wayne plays Sheriff John T. Chance. He is holding a prisoner in a small town jail. The prisoner's brother wants him back, so Chance and his deputies wait. And wait, and the film watches them wait together. Dean Martin plays Dude, a drunk trying to get sober. Ricky Nelson plays Colorado, a young gunfighter learning what matters. Walter Brennan plays Stumpy, an old man with a shotgun and opinions. These men sit together, drink coffee together, play cards together, argue about nothing, bond over everything. And Tarantino learns something crucial from this structure. You do not need constant action to build tension. You need characters worth spending time with. The Hateful Eight borrowed this entire concept. 8 people trapped in a cabin during a blizzard, talking, accusing, waiting for violence. That came straight from Rio Bravo. Hawks understood that anticipation creates better cinema than spectacle. Tarantino learned that lesson and never forgot it. The film runs 2 hours and 21 minutes. Most of that runtime is conversation. Men existing together, building trust, creating family, then defending it. The violence matters because the relationships matter. Remove the characters and you have nothing, just guns firing. Hawks taught Tarantino that Westerns are not about killing. They are about who you kill for, who you protect, who you trust when everyone else wants you dead. Number 14, The Wild Bunch, 1969. Sam Peckinpah made The Wild Bunch and changed action forever. Tarantino calls it the most important action film ever made, not just in Westerns, in cinema. Before this film, gunfights were clean. Heroes shot bad guys, and bad guys fell down dead. Simple, bloodless. Peckinpah destroyed that illusion. He showed what bullets actually do to human bodies. The way flesh tears, the way blood sprays, the way death is messy and horrible and final. The film opens with a bank robbery gone wrong. The Wild Bunch rides into a Texas town in 1913. The West is dying. Automobiles exist. Telephones exist. The old ways are ending, and these outlaws know they are extinct. William Holden leads them. Ernest Borgnine, Warren Oates, Ben Johnson. Old men trying to pull off one last score. One final payday before the world makes them irrelevant. The film ends with the Batalla de Agua Prieta, the bloodiest shootout in cinema history up to that point. Slow motion. Squibs. Choreographed carnage. 200 Mexican soldiers against 4 aging outlaws. Everyone dies. The violence is operatic, beautiful in its brutality. And Tarantino studied every frame, every squib hit, every blood splash, every death. Reservoir. Dogs borrowed the blood. Kill Bill borrowed the operatic violence. Django Unchained borrowed the finale, where everyone dies in slow motion. Peckinpah taught Tarantino that violence could be art if you filmed it with enough honesty and beauty. If you showed the consequences, the pain, the way bodies break. The way death is never clean or quick or noble, just final.
Pauline! Figurero sta tornando in paese con altri...
Number 13, The Great Silence, 1968. Sergio Corbucci directed The Great Silence and nobody saw it. That is a crime, because this might be the bleakest Western ever made. Most Westerns end with justice. The hero wins, the bad guys lose. Order is restored. The Great Silence ends with the hero murdered, the villains victorious, and snow covering everything like a burial shroud. Tarantino calls it the most depressing film he has ever loved, the most honest, the most true to what the West actually was. Jean-Louis Trintignant plays Silence, a mute gunfighter who cannot speak because bounty hunters cut his vocal cords and murdered his parents when he was a child. Now he kills bounty hunters, hunts them, executes them, makes them draw first so the law cannot touch him. Klaus Kinski plays Loco, the leader of the bounty hunters, a sadist who operates within the law because bounty hunting is legal. The film takes place during a blizzard in Utah. The snow is constant, oppressive, beautiful, and deadly. The poor are starving. The bounty hunters are killing them for profit. And Silence tries to help, but fails. The ending shocked audiences in 1968. It still shocks today. Loco shoots Silence in the hand, cripples him, then shoots him dead, then massacres the innocent people Silence tried to protect. The film ends with bodies in the snow and Klaus Kinski smiling. No justice, no redemption, only cruelty. Tarantino loved that ending because it refused to lie, refused to pretend the good guys always win. The Hateful Eight borrowed that snow, that bleakness, that refusal to provide comfort. Corbucci showed Tarantino that Westerns did not need happy endings to be meaningful. Sometimes the truth is ugly. Sometimes evil wins.
The good. The bad.
We're gonna have to earn it.
How?
Number 12, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, 1966. Everyone knows this film. Sergio Leone directed it. Ennio Morricone scored it. Clint Eastwood starred in it. The final duel in the cemetery is the most famous scene in Western history. But Tarantino loves it for different reasons. Not the iconography, the structure. Leone made a 3-hour Western about 3 criminals searching for buried gold during the Civil War. And every single minute matters. Not one wasted frame, not one unnecessary scene. The film is basically 3 short films connected by a treasure hunt. Blondie and Tuco, partners and enemies. The Bridge, a battle sequence in the middle of a treasure hunt where soldiers die for no reason. The prison camp, where Angel Eyes tortures Tuco, where the war becomes personal. Each section works as its own contained story, then connects to the larger narrative. Tarantino stole this structure for every film he ever made. Pulp Fiction is 3 stories connected by a briefcase. Kill Bill is revenge broken into chapters. The Hateful Eight is 6 sections inside a cabin. All of this came from Leone, and the violence. Leone made violence balletic, poetic. He turned gunfights into opera. The final duel lasts 10 minutes. It is 3 men standing in a circle. The camera cuts between their eyes. Close-ups so tight you can see every bead of sweat, every twitch. Morricone's score builds. The tension becomes unbearable. Then 3 shots, 2 seconds, and it is over. Everyone got something from Leone, but Tarantino got the architecture. The way to structure a film so every scene feels essential. Every moment builds toward an inevitable and operatic conclusion. Number 11. Once Upon a Time. In the West, 1968. Leone made this 2 years after The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, and somehow topped himself. Tarantino calls it the greatest Western ever made. Full stop, not his favorite. The greatest. The most perfectly constructed. The most beautiful. The most operatic. The film is a tone poem about the death of the Old West. Railroads replacing gunslingers. Civilization destroying wilderness. Progress murdering mythology. Everything that made the West romantic and dangerous disappearing under steel tracks and corporate greed. Henry Fonda plays Frank, a killer working for the railroad. This casting was revolutionary, groundbreaking. Fonda spent his career playing heroes, noble men, good men. Leone cast him as evil incarnate, a man who murders children, shoots a boy in cold blood while the boy's father swings from a noose. The opening scene is 10 minutes without dialogue. 3 killers are waiting at a train station, flies buzzing, a windmill creaking, water dripping from a tower, sound design as narrative. Then Charles Bronson arrives, the dialogue begins, and every line is iconic. Harmonica playing his namesake instrument, seeking revenge for his brother's murder. Claudia Cardinale plays Jill, the prostitute who inherits a ranch and becomes a symbol of the future. Jason Robards plays Cheyenne, the outlaw caught between the old ways and the new. The film runs 2 hours and 45 minutes. It feels like 90. Because every shot is a painting, every scene is essential. Tarantino studied this film more than any other. The pacing, the patience, the willingness to let scenes breathe. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood borrowed the structure, the patience, the long scenes of people talking and existing. All of that came from Leone.
Django, you must face another day.
E così sia!
Number 10. Django, 1966. Sergio Corbucci made Django and created the template for every revenge. A Western that followed. Franco Nero plays Django, a former Union soldier dragging a coffin through the mud. The film takes place in a nightmare version of the American West. Constant rain, endless mud, a town caught between Mexican revolutionaries and racist ex-Confederates. Django arrives, opens the coffin, pulls out a machine gun, and massacres everyone. Simple, brutal, perfect. Tarantino named his slave revenge Western after this film, not as a remake, as tribute, because Django understood something essential. Revenge is not noble, it is necessary. Django does not kill to restore order. He kills because violence is the only language his enemies understand. The film was banned in multiple countries. Too violent, too nihilistic, too honest. The scene where Django's hands are crushed became legendary. The villains destroy his ability to use a gun, smash his hands with rifle butts until the bones break. So he learns to shoot with broken hands, pulls the trigger with thumbs. The pain makes him stronger. This influenced every Tarantino protagonist. Beatrix Kiddo buried alive, then clawing her way out. Django Freeman learning to shoot after years of slavery. These characters are defined by their refusal to stay down. When normal people would quit, when death seems certain, that is when real heroes are forged. Corbucci showed Tarantino that heroes are made in moments of absolute brutality. The machine gun scene became iconic. Django standing in the cemetery, the gun spitting fire, bodies dropping everywhere. 50 men dead in 30 seconds. This was 1966, years before Peckinpah, before The Wild Bunch. Corbucci did it first, made violence operatic, made revenge beautiful, and Tarantino never forgot it. If you are enjoying this countdown, hit that like button. Subscribe for more deep dives into cinema history. Because we are just getting started, the next 5 films on Tarantino's list are the ones that directly shaped his visual language. Number 9, The Searchers, 1956. John Ford directed The Searchers and gave cinema its most problematic hero. John Wayne plays Ethan Edwards, a Confederate veteran searching for his niece after Comanches kidnap her. The film runs 2 hours and slowly reveals that Ethan is not a hero. He is a racist, a killer, a man consumed by hatred. He wants to find his niece, but not to save her, to kill her, because she has been living with Comanches and is therefore contaminated in his eyes, ruined. Better dead than Indian. Tarantino loves this film because it refuses to sanctify its protagonist. Ethan Edwards is the villain, but he is also the main character. The film forces you to follow a monster, to understand his logic, to see how racism and trauma create men like him. The cinematography is gorgeous. Monument Valley, red rocks, blue skies, beauty containing ugliness. The final shot is iconic. Ethan standing in a doorway. The family reunited inside, Ethan outside, forever. Because there is no place for men like him in civilization. He belongs to the wilderness, the violence, the endless frontier where his hatred can exist without consequence. Django Unchained borrowed this structure. Calvin Candy is Ethan Edwards reimagined as a slave owner, charming, educated, absolutely evil. And the film forces you to sit with that evil, to understand it without excusing it. Ford taught Tarantino that the most interesting characters are the ones who challenge the audience, the ones who make you uncomfortable, the ones who reveal truths about America that America does not want to acknowledge. Ethan Edwards is America, violent, racist, beautiful, destructive, incapable of peace.
Hey, ho, ho, hey, hey, hey.
Goodbye, ma'am. Mighty nice to meet you.
Number 8, My Darling Clementine, 1946. John Ford made My Darling Clementine as his version of the Wyatt Earp story. Forget everything you know about the gunfight at the OK Corral. Ford did not care about historical accuracy. He cared about mythology, creating icons, turning violence into poetry. Henry Fonda plays Wyatt Earp, not as a lawman, as a farmer, a cattleman, a decent man forced into violence by circumstances beyond his control, a man who just wants to settle down, raise cattle, live quietly, but the Clantons will not let him. The film takes place in Tombstone, Arizona. The Clanton gang runs the town. Wyatt becomes marshal, falls in love with a school teacher named Clementine, and eventually faces the Clantons in the famous gunfight. But the gunfight is not the point. The point is the buildup, the community forming, the church dance where Wyatt and Clementine dance on the floor of an unfinished church. This scene is pure cinema, no dialogue, just two people dancing while the town watches, music playing, everyone clapping, this moment of peace before the violence comes. Tarantino borrowed this understanding of rhythm, the way violence means nothing without context, the way you need to care about characters before you watch them die. Reservoir Dogs opens with 8 men talking about Madonna, not planning a heist, talking about pop culture, building camaraderie. So, when they turn on each other, it matters. Ford invented that technique. Tarantino perfected it. The dance scene runs 4 minutes. 4 minutes of people being happy, creating community. This makes the gunfight tragic instead of triumphant. Ford understood that violence destroys more than it creates.
What are you doing, walking down to Mexico?
No, there's a trading post right near the Creek Nation. They got horses to trade.
You have any food here?
We didn't have no Ma. So, Pa did all the fancy needlework for me.
Number 7. The Outlaw, Josey Wales, 1976. Clint Eastwood directed and starred in The Outlaw Josey Wales and created the definitive post-Civil War revenge western. Josey Wales is a Missouri farmer. Union soldiers murder his family, burn his house, kill his wife and son while he watches from the fields. He joins Confederate guerrillas. The war ends. His comrades surrender and are massacred, shot down like dogs by Union soldiers who promised amnesty. Josey refuses to surrender, becomes an outlaw, rides west. collects a makeshift family of outcasts, and builds a life in Indian territory while the government hunts him. Tarantino loves this film because Josey Wales is not a hero. He is a killer who earns redemption. The violence in this film is constant but never glorified. Josey spits tobacco on people before he kills them, shoots men in the back, scalps a bounty hunter, does whatever survival requires. But slowly he builds a community, saves people, protects them, becomes something more than a killer, an old Cherokee woman, a young Navajo woman, a Kansas family, all outcasts, all broken, all finding family in the wilderness. The film understands that redemption is not about forgetting violence. It is about finding something worth protecting. Django Unchained follows this exact arc. Django starts as a slave, becomes a killer, then becomes a protector. The violence never stops, but the motivation changes. Eastwood taught Tarantino that Westerns work best when violence serves character development. When killing is not the goal, survival is, protection is, family is. The final line is perfect. Josey tells the Union soldiers hunting him that the war is over, then rides away. A killer choosing peace.
There's no need for all that.
All what?
If you want to get acquainted, why don't you just say so?
Acquainted?
Number 6. High Plains Drifter, 1973. Eastwood directed High Plains Drifter 3 years before Josey Wales and made something darker, stranger, more supernatural. A mysterious gunfighter rides into the town of Lago. The townspeople hired him to protect them from 3 outlaws returning for revenge. But the stranger is not a protector. He is a ghost, maybe literally. The film implies he is the ghost of a marshal the town murdered. Whipped to death in the street while the townspeople watched. Did nothing. Now he is back to torment them. To paint the entire town red. To rename it Hell. This film is a fever dream. A horror western. The violence is brutal. The sexual content was controversial. The morality is non-existent. The stranger rapes a woman who was insulting him. The film does not condemn this or condone it. It simply shows it. As if supernatural beings operate outside human morality. As if ghosts are not bound by the rules that govern the living. The townspeople are cowards. They let their marshal die. Now they pay the price. The stranger trains them to fight, arms them, then abandons them when the outlaws arrive, watches the town burn. Tarantino studied this film for its willingness to break rules, to make the protagonist monstrous, to refuse easy answers. The Hateful Eight operates in similar moral darkness. No one in that cabin is innocent. Everyone has committed atrocities, and the film refuses to pick sides. Eastwood taught Tarantino that Westerns could be nightmares, that the frontier was not romantic. It was hell. And sometimes hell is exactly what people deserve.
Death rides a horse.
Number 5. Death Rides a Horse, 1967. Giulio Petroni directed Death Rides a Horse and created the perfect revenge western. A young boy watches bandits murder his family. 15 years later, he hunts them down one by one. Lee Van Cleef plays Ryan, a gunfighter just released from prison who also wants revenge on the same gang. The boy and the gunfighter form an uneasy alliance, and the film becomes a meditation on revenge. Who deserves it? Who earns it? And whether it provides satisfaction or just creates more emptiness. Tarantino calls this the most influential film on his career that nobody has seen. The structure is flawless, flashbacks showing the boy's trauma, present-day scenes of methodical revenge, a twist revealing that Ryan was one of the bandits who murdered the boy's family, the final confrontation where the boy must decide whether to kill his mentor. Ennio Morricone scored this film with one of his most haunting compositions, a harmonica theme that Tarantino borrowed for Kill Bill. The entire structure of Kill Bill comes from Death Rides a Horse. The bride has a list. She crosses off names one by one. Each fight reveals more backstory. Each death provides less satisfaction. And the final confrontation is not about revenge. It is about forgiveness. The boy cannot kill Ryan. Even though Ryan helped murder his family, even though justice demands it, he cannot do it. He rides away, leaves Ryan alive, chooses to break the cycle. That came directly from Petroni, from understanding that revenge is empty. But the pursuit of revenge creates meaning, purpose, identity. And sometimes the pursuit matters more than the conclusion. Tarantino learned this lesson, but rejected the forgiveness. The bride kills Bill, Django kills Candy, revenge completed. Because Tarantino believes some people deserve death. Some crimes cannot be forgiven. Petroni showed him the structure. Tarantino chose a different ending.
Are you Kulik?
Number 4. The Big Gundown, 1966. Sergio Solima directed The Big Gundown and made the most political spaghetti western ever filmed. Lee Van Cleef plays Jonathan Corbett, a bounty hunter and former Confederate soldier hired to hunt a Mexican peasant accused of rape. The Mexican, Cuchillo, is played by Thomas Millian, and as Corbett hunts him across the desert, he realizes the accusations are false. A railroad baron framed Cuchillo. The rape never happened, and Corbett must choose between the law and justice, between his paycheck and his conscience. This film radicalized Tarantino's understanding of westerns. Before this, westerns pretended the law and justice were the same thing. The Big Gundown exposes that lie. The law protects the powerful. Justice requires breaking the law. Corbett and Cuchillo become allies. Two men from different worlds united against systemic corruption. The action scenes are spectacular. A fight on a moving train. A chase through a ghost town. Cuchillo escaping impossible situations with cunning instead of guns. A finale where the railroad baron pays for his crimes. But the action serves the politics, shows how violence is the only language that challenges power. Django Unchained follows this template exactly. Django and Dr. Schultz, the slave and the dentist. Two men from different worlds hunting slavers. The violence is justified because the system is unjust. Solima taught Tarantino that westerns could be revolutionary, could challenge authority, could argue that sometimes the hero must become an outlaw to do what is right. The Big Gundown ends with Corbett destroying his badge, rejecting the law, choosing justice over legitimacy. Tarantino's heroes make that same choice. They operate outside the law because the law is corrupt. They kill because the system protects killers. Solima made that argument first. Number 3. Day of Anger, 1967. Tonino Valerie directed Day of Anger and created the darkest mentor-student relationship in Western history. Giuliano Gemma plays Scott Mary, a young street sweeper treated like garbage by the town of Clifton. Lee Van Cleef plays Frank Talby, a legendary gunfighter who rides into town and takes Scott as his apprentice. Scott learns to shoot, to stand up for himself, to take revenge on everyone who humiliated him, and slowly realizes that Talby is not his savior. He is a monster, a killer using Scott to settle old scores, and Scott must choose between becoming Talby or destroying him. Tarantino calls this the greatest mentor-student Western ever made. The relationship between Scott and Talby mirrors every apprenticeship in Tarantino's films. Clarence and Alabama in True Romance, Vincent and Jules in Pulp Fiction, The Bride and Bill in Kill Bill, Django and Dr. Schultz in Django Unchained. Every relationship where the student learns from a master, then must surpass or destroy them. The film's structure is perfect. 3 acts: the education, the corruption, the confrontation. Scott becomes faster than Talby, but also more human. He refuses to become Talby, chooses mercy, becomes the hero Talby could never be. This influenced Django Unchained more than any other film. Django learns to shoot from Schultz, but refuses to become cynical like Schultz, refuses to see killing as business, maintains his humanity even while committing violence. That came from Valeri, from understanding that the apprentice's greatest test is refusing to repeat the master's mistakes. Scott defeats Talby not by being faster, but by being better, by rejecting Talby's philosophy. Django does the same, learns from Schultz but surpasses him morally, becomes the hero his teacher could not be.
It's true. No difference between
Number 2, The Mercenary, 1968. Sergio Corbucci directed The Mercenary and made the most purely entertaining Western on Tarantino's list. Franco Nero plays Sergei Kowalski, a Polish mercenary in Mexico during the Revolution. Jack Palance plays Curly, a sadistic gunfighter with a falcon obsessed with killing Kowalski. Tony Musante plays Paco, a peasant who becomes a revolutionary leader with Kowalski's help. The film is a triangle, 3 men, each representing a different philosophy. The mercenary fights for money, the revolutionary fights for justice, the sadist fights for pleasure, and they collide in the Mexican desert. Tarantino loves this film for its pure cinematic joy. The violence is cartoonish, over the top, beautiful. The scene where Curly and Kowalski duel in a bull ring while Paco plays Matador became legendary. Corbucci choreographed it like a dance. The cape, the gunshots, the fake-outs, pure visual storytelling. Ennio Morricone's score is bombastic and perfect, and the film's politics are surprisingly sharp. Kowalski starts fighting for money, ends fighting for the revolution. Not because he believes in it, but because he respects Paco, respects the people fighting for their freedom. Tarantino borrowed this evolution for Django Unchained. Django does not fight slavery because of ideology. He fights it because of Broomhilda. Love becomes revolution. Personal becomes political. Corbucci showed Tarantino that entertainment and politics could coexist, that westerns could be fun and meaningful, could make you cheer while making you think. The Mercenary is pure pleasure, every scene designed to entertain. But underneath the entertainment lives a radical message. The powerful exploit the weak must fight back, and sometimes an outsider helps them, not from nobility, from friendship.
I ain't giving no lifetime of misery and sweat to this peck of wood. I'd rather die than be a slave. You peck of wood.
Get in.
Number 1, Mandingo, 1975. Richard Fleischer directed Mandingo and created the most controversial film on Tarantino's list. This is not a traditional Western. It is a slavery drama set on a plantation in Louisiana in the 1830s. But Tarantino considers it a Western in spirit. It takes place in the American frontier, examines systemic violence, shows men living by brutal codes, and refuses to sanitize history. The film is exploitation, blaxploitation, grindhouse, and absolutely essential to understanding Django Unchained. James Mason plays Warren Maxwell, a plantation owner. Perry King plays Hammond Maxwell, his son. Ken Norton plays Meade, a slave trained as a Mandingo fighter, boxers. Human beings forced to fight for white entertainment. The film exposes the sexual violence of slavery, the breeding, the rape, the dehumanization. This is not Gone with the Wind. This is slavery as horror, as exploitation, as the American nightmare. The film was savaged by critics, called tasteless, exploitative, pornographic, and Tarantino loved it for exactly those reasons. Because slavery was tasteless, was exploitative, was pornographic. Django Unchained exists because of Mandingo, the Candyland plantation, the Mandingo fighting, the sexual violence, the brutality. All of that came from Fleischer's film. Tarantino took the exploitation elements and weaponized them, made them operatic, made them cathartic, gave Django a gun, and let him kill everyone responsible. Mandingo does not provide that catharsis. Hammond murders Meade for sleeping with his wife, even though Hammond forced the relationship. The innocent die, the guilty live. Fleischer showed Tarantino that Westerns about American violence must confront American slavery, must acknowledge that the frontier was built on stolen land and stolen labor, must refuse to romanticize, must show the truth. These 15 Westerns shaped Quentin Tarantino's vision of cinema, the violence, the revenge, the operatic bloodshed, the refusal to sanitize history. Every film he ever made contains DNA from these Westerns, from Leone's patience, Peckinpah's brutality, Corbucci's nihilism, Ford's mythology, Eastwood's redemption arcs, and Fleischer's willingness to confront uncomfortable truths. This is not just a list, it is a roadmap. The education of a director who turned Westerns into high art. Which of these 15 Westerns is your favorite? Which one do you think influenced Tarantino the most? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you want more deep dives into cinema history, hit that subscribe button, because we are just getting started. The Western never died, it just evolved, and Tarantino proved it.